Whenever a new play pattern was introduced into the original Generation 1 toy line, you would see a team of Autobots and a team of Decepticons utilize this new gimmick. For example, when the Scramble City combination system was introduced, we had Menasor and Bruticus for the Decepticons, and Defensor and Superion for the Autobots. This pattern continued until the end of Generation 1. For every team of Autobot Target Masters, there was a parallel team of Decepticons. For every team of Decepticon Power Masters, there were the corresponding Autobots. And this team dynamic is best seen in the Headmasters. The Decepticon Headmaster team was led by the brutal Scorponok and consisted of the predatory Skullcruncher, the peculiar Weirdwolf, and the merciless mystic Mindwipe. This is the Generation 1 Mindwipe and his Headmaster Vorath. These dark and spooky boys were released all the way back in 1987. Vorath is a pretty standard Headmaster figure. He's cast in black plastic with maroon limbs. He doesn't have a lot of detail on him, but like any minifigure, he's always a welcome addition. Since they weren't standard vehicles, the Decepticon Headmasters had to be inventive with their cockpits. So Mindwipe is wearing this cute little papoose that Vorath can snug right into. And in alternate mode, Mindwipe is a very, very chunky bat. He is as wide as a battleship and has itty-bitty wings to support it. The wings and head are cast in this very desaturated purplish red plastic, and it does add a lot of contrast to the bat mode. He does have some pops of sticker detail, as well as what looks to be speakers painted and sculpted onto the bat mode shoulders. What little illusion there is broken as soon as you look at his back. That's just very clearly some robot legs folded up. So let's unfold him and get into robot mode. Mindwipe's transformation might be incredibly simple, but it's always satisfying to get the Headmaster and plonk him into the robot mode. That way you get the little tech spec readout on his chest. And in robot mode, Mindwipe has a pretty solid silhouette. He's very chunky and blocky, but that's classic Generation 1 through and through. The predominantly black color scheme with hits of purple and the big upside down bat wings really communicate that Mindwipe is a mystical and malicious force on the Decepticon team. Even though Mindwipe fancies himself the witchy type, he does need a gun to go into battle, and he includes this purple rifle. It's well sculpted and displays well with the figure. This being a Generation 1 figure means he has next door to no articulation. He can move at the shoulders up and down, and that's about it. He's really just meant to stand there and look spooky. And spooky really is the crux of Mindwipe's character. So much so you could even call him a tryhard. As described in his original toy bio and ancillary material, Mindwipe is obsessed with and studies the occult, so much so you could even call him the Cybertronian equivalent of a spiritualist, as he looks to commune with the dead. He commits to the bit really hard, much to the annoyance of his Decepticon comrades. However, they do see the value in his skill set, as he specializes in mesmerization. He uses the giant speakers on his bat mode to hypnotize his enemies. Now in Western media, that being the Marvel Comics and the Sunbow cartoon, Mindwipe was binary bonded to Vorath, Vorath being a Nebulon scientist who is aiding the Decepticons. So we have Vorath, the science guy, bonded with the gas station vampire Mindwipe, and of course, they are massively clashing personalities. They are not an odd couple that works together, they're an odd couple that tears each other down. Obviously, this is meant to be a funny dynamic that shows how different the Nebulon partners can be from their Transformer equivalent, but it really spotlights one of the major problems I have with the Marvel Comics and Sunbow interpretation of Headmasters, and that's the fact that it really draws into question where the autonomy of one ends and the other begins, as the head unit and the Transformer themselves are completely different characters. I think at some points they actually genuinely forget in the Marvel Comics that the Headmasters are technically two individual characters. This is why I like the Japanese interpretation of the concept way better. In the Japanese continuity, of course, the head is the real character, as they are just a diminutive Cybertronian who pilots the Transtector, a larger body to make them on par with the other characters in the series. It just streamlines the characterization and lore and gives them their own agency. In the Headmasters anime, Mindwipe is still a creepy little weirdo skulking around in the background, though most notably he does help Galvatron, who is crazy by the way, blow up the planet Cybertron. So much like Gaius Baltar from Battlestar Galactica, in a moment of weakness he completely screws over everybody on his home planet. Good job, buddy. Mindwipe really is a tryhard through and through. And you can see that very clearly in his original bio. A little tidbit that I left out is the fact that during his seances, whenever he tries to commune with the dead, typically speaking, he picks up TV broadcast signals from Earth. It really undercuts his dark and spooky persona, and it just kind of makes it an adorable quality that this practitioner of black magic and the dark arts easily gets distracted by all my children in the daytime and Dallas at night. He even picks up the game in the Sugar Ray fight. As silly as it sounds, I would love to see a reinterpretation of Mindwipe where he is the occult practicing comic relief character who really tries too hard to be edgy, maybe paired with a scientist character in the Decepticon roster to give them that odd couple dynamic. There's already so many basic grunts, bullies, and warlords within the Decepticon ranks that adding someone like this who brings a different perspective would add a better quality and dynamic to the enemy team.